Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Gold Podcast. Today we're speaking with Jeff Pontius. He is the founder and CEO of Corvus Gold. And Corvus actually released some news today. Jeff, I'll just read this for our audience. You had results that included over 49 meters, 1.9 grams per ton gold with 43 grams per ton silver, and that includes 1.7 meters of about half an ounce per ton gold and 549 grams per ton silver, which is about 18 or 19 ounces per ton, if my math is correct. Why don't you just give us a kind of a background of this release and then what the significance is?
Sure. Thanks, Jordan. Well, it's important for us. We've been targeting some of these high-grade feeder veins in the North Bullfrog area, and Yellow Jacket emerges quite a good area. We were able to get a few very interesting holes into the Yellow Jacket area that led us to a higher grade zone within this structurally controlled stockwork system of veining. And this intersection is very similar to one we announced this summer, where we intersected a broad zone of about 72 meters of 1.8 grams a ton gold with some very good silver associated with that as well. So when we looked at this, we came in, and it's always a challenge with these high-grade systems to get their shape figured out. And we came back with 4 holes to basically tell us what direction this system's going and how extensive it is. This is the first 50-meter step-out hole to the north. We hit the system. It looks very similar to the original discovery hole we had earlier. So it does look like we're on top of a fairly broad, higher grade zone of mineralization that is open pit mineable, and that we're going to be able to exploit in our second phase mine development plan. So we'll be back at this zone. We've got 3 more holes coming in. They had good thicknesses of quartz type mineralization in them, and we'll see what we get out of those over the next few weeks. But it is a pretty substantial discovery for us. It's starting to build some tons around a new high-grade vein system discovery here for Nevada.
And Jeff, I understand that this would be an open pittable resource. I know it's just one result, so it's probably too early to think about that. But maybe you could just differentiate between this news and also the higher grade underground potential that Yellow Jacket has.
Sure. When we look at grades, keep in mind the main ore body to the north is around 0.3 grams. So this is substantially higher grade. The overall width is quite broad. We're talking widths in the neighborhood of 50 to 70 meters. Those are very attractive mining targets for an open pit, and this would be a very high-grade open pit zone. So this will be very important in the development of the north area open pit deposit. And as we said, it's all within shallow depths, so we can extract this with open pit, which means we get everything. Now, it does have a higher grade core in it, as you noted. The earlier results, as well as this, had some material that was in half an ounce gold with many ounces of silver associated with it, so quite high value rock. And that's certainly good enough to chase underground. So we'll be able to continue to develop more and more ounces in the open pit depth, and as we exceed that open pit depth, the grades are sufficient in this to allow us to carry on underground and mine this underground, which is far more expensive on a per ton basis, so you have to mine higher grade rock when you go underground. But the open pit part of this right now is really attractive to us. We do have a number of holes in this zone now, and so we're starting to build a shape. As we do more and more drilling on this, we'll build tons and grade into that, and undoubtedly this will fall as a key component in our new north area open pit mine plan.
Jeff, why don't we continue talking about exploration? So, as far as 2013, I guess two questions for you: is Yellow Jacket going to be the bulk of your exploration focus next year? And second to that, are we going to see an updated resource estimate at some point?
Yes, we're going to have an updated PEA that will be out shortly here in the next couple weeks, and that will give basically a picture of what this deposit will look like with the two-stage development. The early stage on the private land where we can get going, we're anticipating having production by the end of 2014, and then the larger project, which is up near the Yellow Jacket area, and that will be coming online at the end of 2016. So when we look at this, that's really going to be a focus for us next year. Of course, we want to follow up not only the high-grade mineralization at Yellow Jacket, but our exploration group has turned up 3 other very attractive targets that look very similar to Yellow Jacket geologically and geophysically, and we'll be out testing those targets, as well as a very large resource development program for the large deposit up north. We see a lot of reason why that's going to expand and enlarge, and we should come out next fall with an updated resource for that north area, which we anticipate, based on the early information we see now, will probably have a substantial increase in the overall resource. So it's going to be a very exciting time for us next year as we get the exploration going on not only these high-grade feeder zones, which are very attractive from a mining standpoint, but the overall large bulk tonnage resource, which will come into the ultimate mine plan for the north area, which we will be submitting permits on that in early 2014.
Okay, a quick follow-up there on the PEA. So is that going to be only on Mayflower, or it's going to be on both stages of the project?
It'll include both stages, and really what we're doing is to show the economic impact of coming into production earlier and using that cash flow from that first phase operation in the Mayflower area to help support the cost of development of the second phase operation. So basically defraying some of the capex required for the larger project up north, which includes a resource now of nearly 1 million ounces and probably has a good chance to expand.
So, I mean, in terms of the overall exploration, the overall resources, it's fair to say, I mean, you know, someone who's just brand new to the story, what you can point out is, you know, we made an initial discovery, it was a low-grade bulk tonnage, and essentially you're continuing in other areas to find more ounces and at a higher grade. Is that all fair to say?
Yeah, it is. We have a very big footprint here of a big low-grade system that we initially discovered, and as we did more and more work in there and more drilling, we now have started to discover the high-grade feeder zones, which are these high-grade vein systems. And this is a big footprint, and we have a chance to find not only just the Yellow Jacket area, but probably a few others. We've seen some very good grades come out of the Mayflower project, which is our southern first phase mining project, and we anticipate being able to hopefully continue to be successful at defining not only more and more bulk tonnage ounces, but also more and more of these high-grade opportunities that we see that can come in the mine plan. And it'll be very important when it comes time to developing it and creating some real attractive cash flow out of these.
And let's talk about the permitting, because I know, you know, some people, they say Nevada is such a great place to be, and then some other people say, oh, well, it's getting more difficult, it's taking a lot of time. Why don't you just tell our audience what you foresee happening with the permitting?
Yeah, I think Nevada is certainly a good place to do mining because there's a great history there, recent history of mining. They know what they're doing both from the federal and state side. So the permitting track here is very well defined. Just like anything, when it comes to a federal permit, there are a number of hoops we have to jump through, and that hasn't changed over time. And what we've actually seen in the recent time is actually more accelerated permit granting than we have seen before. If you're familiar with the large permit that Allied Nevada just submitted for their project at Highcroft, that permit was actually, or that EIS was actually completed in 12 months, which was a very quick time. In our current permit schedule, we're allowing for 24 months for that. To the south of us, the Reward project, that permit was granted, and it's just 20 miles away from us, was granted in about 18 months. And so that leads us to believe that we're seeing good response from both the federal and state agencies, and that they understand mining is a very important business, particularly in Nevada, and that they're working with the companies to move those permits through the process in a timely manner. So I'm encouraged with what I see.
Yes, it definitely sounds encouraging. Now, Jeff, before we close, why don't you, or would you like to touch on or comment on anything that we haven't discussed here already?
Well, I think it's important to realize that North Bullfrog is actually very recent and new discovery. There's lots of developments that are going to happen with this area. It's a large area of mineralization, and I expect that we're going to have some good success going forward in this area. It certainly looks like a good place for us to be spending our money, and Corvus is very focused on its corporate strategy, which is to get into production and get that multiple into the hands of our shareholders as far as share price goes, and continue the good performance that we've had, and continue to add value for those people in the marketplace.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much for taking the time today and giving us all an update. I really appreciate it, and congratulations on all the success so far, and best of luck to you in the near future.
Thanks, Jordan.